Thank you, Madam Chair. So I want to address something that neither majority or minority has processed. I've been working with drug addicts for over 30 years, and there's a lot of things that I hear being said here that really are not, they're not reality when it comes to actually working with these people. These people are truly trapped in the drugs. There's no doubt about that. But here's the point that I think seems to be missing, and this is the reason that we have this bill. I'm not addressing the motive. I believe that the motive is good here. Okay, that's not what I'm addressing. What I'm addressing is actually a starting point. There's two different starting points for me with this subject, and I've dealt with this with all kinds of state-sponsored rehab centers, any kind of government type of entity that works with any kind of drug issues, and this is the exact same thing. The starting point is flawed, and this is why we're doing this. The state or liberal thinking here is, this is who you are. As somebody being controlled by some type of substance, this is who you are. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a place for you to continue to be who you are, and it will get worse. The idea that somehow we're just going to continue taking drugs and it doesn't get worse, there's all kinds of dependencies, emotional, chemical, mental, all these dependencies that are all woven together. And these dependencies get a stronger hold and a stronger control the more that you have access to the drugs. And so if the starting point is, this is who you are and this is always the way you're going to be. In fact, this is the way most people say it, is dealing with alcohol. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Once a drug addict, always a drug addict. Well, I don't believe in that premise. I don't think that's the right starting point. What I have seen is anything that the state touches when it comes to drugs, any kind of chemical dependencies or anything like that, anytime the state touches it, it gets worse. And the reason is because they are assuming, and the state being a lot of different layers of entities that are included, that they are assuming that this is just the way it is. And so even when you establish a state-sponsored or a state-funded or a state-controlled some type of rehab center, the success rate is usually in the high teens. And I've worked with hundreds of addicts over the years going into rehab centers. When you allow them to go into anything that the state is developing, the success rate is in the teens. When you switch that and you allow them to go into or funnel them into, and I've done this with so many people over the years, when you put them into a faith-based rehab, and I can name two right now that fall into this category, their statistical success is in the 80 percentile. 80. I have encouraged many and helped pay for many people to go into these rehab centers. And the reason that there's such a difference is because the state-controlled mentalities are, this is who you are, and we're going to continue to help you stay there. This is what these centers are going to do. This is the mindset. This is the start of this, is if this is who they are, well then let's have a place where they can be who they are, although it will eventually kill them. The idea that this saves lives, I don't even know why anybody would believe that. This is going to get them more addicted, and they will overdose. The idea that somehow they only take drugs in that place, that's crazy. They will overdose eventually, they will die. But if this is who they are, then these centers kind of make sense. If this is who they are, then the state rehabs make sense, except that the success rate is almost always below 20%. When you switch into the mentality that this is not who they are just being controlled by something. This is not them. They're being emotionally and mentally and physically controlled, and I also believe spiritually controlled by this. When you put them into a faith base, they start with the point that this is not who they are. They do have redeemable value. They are human beings that can break free from this stuff. It is not impossible to break free from any kind of addictions. Unless the people surrounding you are saying, we're going to help you stay where you are. And I've been fighting this for over 30 years with state organizations and all kinds of rehab groups that just trying to convince them that this person can actually be free of this. I've got a guy right now that is going to be talking to my church in 2 weeks that is completely free of drugs because he went to a legitimate rehab center. He didn't go to a place where he could continue taking the drugs and just not OD. He went to a legitimate faith-based rehab center. He is completely free of drugs, and he's going to be a missionary to the Lakota Indian. He's a Navajo, and he's going to be a missionary to the Lakota Indians. He's part of my church. That's a different starting point. When I interact with drug addicts, I don't send them to a place that makes it worse. I send them to a place that has proven success of making them better. I don't send them into the den where they're going to be worsened. We're gonna keep you addicted. We're gonna help your addiction grow. This literally does not make sense. Let's switch gears, and instead of seeing these people as continuously being trapped by their drugs in these drug centers, drug enablement centers, let's say, hey, maybe we come up with a different plan. If these things are going to cost $130,000 a month, you know how many people you can put into legitimate rehab centers for that? Thousands of people you can put into legitimate rehab centers for that same amount of money. So I think if there's a possibility that we could just say maybe these people are actually redeemable, they're not just going to be this way forever, let's try to keep them alive. I think that is defeatism at its height, and this center is defeatism at its height. Let's actually look at these people and realize that they are people, and we can do a whole lot better instantly, tomorrow. If we want to make a bill, we could do this tomorrow, and this would be better. Thousands of people per month would be getting off drugs. So I can't go with this bill at all.